Go piss.
It'll be all right. Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, along with James Smith. I'm Lyle Stokes. James, it's just you and me tonight. We talk about doing shows like that once a month, and sometimes we get guests, and people can't make it one day, and the next date that comes available, they can, and we work them in on the days that we had thought we would do a show just you and me, but tonight's tonight.
Sound like a winner to me. I like doing these shows because to me, it gets a little personal, especially when we have so many new people coming in, Lyle. They really get to know just us.
That's right. And it gets a lot of interaction with the people in chat. And speaking of the people in chat, what do you say we go through a bunch of them?
Sound like a winner. We got a pile of them in right now.
Yes, we do. And they keep coming, and we're glad of that. We got John Patrick Jr. and Brian B. Catfishing, Anna Lakin, Fishing Fever Outdoors, Fishing the Rut. Mike Greenwell's in there. Cindy's in there. Fishing with the Squirrel. Mark with Catfish and Crappie. Miss D is in there. Buckeye Catfishing. Creole is in there. My buddy Chad. Billy Martin.
I see Twisted Fishing. Frank, contact me, buddy. We need to talk. We talked the other day. Mo Creek's in here. 2 stands. Mr. Greenwell, I think you done hollered at him. The Bullock Expenser, I seen they was on Avid Show the other night.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dockery's in the house. Mike Irvin, Chrissy Brown, KY Big Cats, and Bourbon. I think he likes bourbon, don't you?
I don't know, but it sounds like me and him can get along.
Jason Lamb and Hook. There's Miss D's in the house with us tonight. Hello?
Yippers.
Oh, yeah. After the show, now I see there's something else I need to talk to you after the show, so don't let me forget.
Okay. Bluegrass Roadside. That's a new one for me. Fishing with the Squirrel.
There's Cat Buster.
I hope I pronounce her name right. I'm not sure I do. Sharia, I think. But Hooks and Hammocks, Muskrat, Georgia Fisherman, Parker Pursuits, Ernie Brown. Let's see. They are going fast.
Brian B. There's a Brian B. Catfishing. That looks like a new name. Jay Clemens.
Matthew Baker. David Garcher. Sean Abbey, old buddy.
Big Slim.
Mike Irwin.
Yep. There's a Samson, and I'm sure there'll be a Simpson in here a little bit.
Yep. Country Boy. Avid. Jason Lamb. Pawpaw Ed. Fins and Finds. My buddy Bob from Springfield, Missouri. I won't call Mr. Dockery Mr., but hello, James. How you doing, old buddy?
Catfish Fever and Outdoors.
Hey, there's a good one right there. Look, it done went past me.
Theodore Arco, thank you very much for your donations, my friend.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it much. Junior Proctor, Blue Dog Fishing, the man that makes one of the best planer boards I have ever put my hands on. And believe you me, James, I've had my hands on plenty of them. They are awesome. And if you want
to, he actually coats that foam with a very protective rubber coating that most people don't do.
Yep.
Even though the foam he uses is very, very durable, he wants to make sure that these will stand up to the abuse of a catfisherman.
I'm telling you guys, if you need a planer board, if you are in the market, call Junior. At least take the time to check him out. You won't be sorry. Christina Dunnigan. Thank you, Theodore Arco. We appreciate it. Janice DeMint, how are you doing tonight? Let's see.
There's Norm's in the house tonight with us. And let's see. Yep. Christina, she must have her husband tied up in the corner, just letting him
Well,
walk.
that or she's beat on him a little bit. I'm not sure. James, I got to tell you, the other night I got asked into a show. I wasn't prepared for it. He wasn't prepared for it, but Mike Greenwell asked me into his new show that he's having. I jumped in there Saturday night for a little while and visit with him, and man, did we have a good time. That was awesome. We went through that, just lickety split. Seemed like the time just flies by, and you know, I've said this before, but when you're on the other end, not doing the show or asking the questions, but replying, it's completely different. But we had a great time. Of course, I'd known Mike for a while. Used to visit with him down at Monsters on the Ohio all the time. Just a super nice guy, and he's doing a great job. Wishing him the very best.
Yep.
Wayne Smith, Moonlight Fishing. Man, they're still coming.
Joe Buck's in the house with us tonight.
Parker Pursuits.
Yes.
You was fishing with a guy the other day, I believe it fell in the water.
Yeah. I seen that. Yeah, I seen that.
I think Rex
it's going to
Walker's in
happen.
here.
If you spend enough time on the river banks, the creek banks, whatever, you're going to get wet. You're going to get muddy. And you're probably going to come back with some bruises and some scratches.
That's right. Catfish Fever Outdoors. Welcome, Alan Piershala. I hope I got that right. Mr. Gadget. Man, that's awesome to see all you guys in there. They're fishing with the Chad. We might have already said him, but it's okay if we say him again.
Well, he got kind of smeared today. He was
yes, he did.
Face all over Facebook and sleeping.
Robbie Thompson. I would never do that to him, but his wife Dee might. Daniel Ishmael.
Ishmael's in the house. Lyle, I took a bad tumble one day going down towards the old hot hole. Got my feet tangled up in some old fishing line somebody had laid there.
Bless
and I reached out there's Finley Hills in the house, and I reached out to grab something to slow me down before I actually lost my balance and went head over heels. And what did I grab? A sawbrawer.
A what?
Well, we call it a sawbrawer. It's a briar bush, and it's got thorns that come out on all the way around the stem, all the way around it, all the way up it. It's just something. It looks like a gar's mouth that's all the way around. And it ripped me and ripped between my fingers on the back of my hand, and it's a nasty son of a gun. Now I'm going to say something here, Lyle. Mr. Catbuster, you're a North Carolina native. We do not do any kind of bashing, any kind of talk, big time, whatever. So I would appreciate it if you do kind of keep that down. Let's see. Yeah, I talked with Junior Proctor today for about an hour. Get on the phone with that boy. He's just like a brother. And Lyle, I have yet to shake the man's hand.
I haven't either, but I'm planning on it here before too awful long. J-Dog is on fishing. Jason, we're glad to have you in the show tonight. I hope your wife made it, and Stan Smith is here. But yeah, I hope to get to see Junior when I come out to see you.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? That time is coming.
Yes, sir. And it's ticking down quick. The dog tags are being labeled, Lyle. So anybody, I do have that computer's now it's trying to restart.
If it does, you're going to be all by myself.
Well, it's always trying to update because I never leave it plugged up at the house. And then I bring it up here and open it up and start it up, and automatically it wants to try to restart up.
Right. There's Catfish Bill.
Reveal. Well, they got gone real quick.
Hayes is in here.
Reveal Catfish. Against students. Yep.
Real Bill. Man, we got a lot of them, James.
Got a lot of new ones. Guys, don't forget, if you see new names and new faces in here, please check out their channel, share the love and share the bait.
I got to watching Flint Hill yesterday or this morning, maybe it was, on his new video, and I thought he had forgot to eat something during his video, but towards the end, he didn't forget. Brian tears me up, man. He did. You know what? I remember when he first started making videos, and man, he's doing a great job with them. I'm not a kayak guy, so to speak, but I sure enjoy watching him, and he catches them fish out there, and he's a big old boy to be in a kayak, so his coordination level must be way up there, you know.
But that's his niche. Is
That's right.
he's gonna eat something in front of a camera for you. And if he don't, then people's gonna call him out on it.
He is a big guy.
I did bring stuff up here to talk about the tournament. Yep. We'll do that later on towards the end of the show, if you don't mind.
Nope, that's fine. Anytime you want to, you make it. Yeah. I'm not a sardine eater, Brian. I'm sorry, buddy, but I can't do that. I mean, I'll try about anything, but I'm not eating them sardines.
My father loves sardines and crackers.
Man, the smell of them things, I can't get past that. So I'm going to have to pass on that.
Yeah, Papa said, yuck, yuck, yuck. I couldn't either, Lyle. I never could get past the smell of them things. But before we get too far, I ain't going to really talk about the bobber tonight, guys, but we are going to give a set of floats away tonight. But I want to tell everybody how to open these up and turn them off and on. So you just unscrew the bottom. I've had a lot of questions. I think a lot of people, Lyle, are scared they're going to break the light.
I think so.
And guys and gals, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. If you turn it to the right, you get a light. Turn it to the left, you cut it off.
Easy.
You're not going to tear it up. Easy peasy. And then screw it back in. Make it sure it screws up good and tight. There's a gasket in the bottom, and it's locked in and watertight. So anyway, we're going to give a set of pink ones away tonight, Lyle, when we get on into the night.
For those that don't know, that piece on James's shirt that is showing the background, that's where a cat bobber, a green one, is on his shirt, and it doesn't show up.
What do you think about my new shirts, Lyle?
I like it. It's very nice. That's even nicer. Heck yeah, man. They look good. They look really good. Fishing.
A lot of people said they like it because it's simple.
I like simple.
Yeah.
I really do. Or East Casing. Moonlight fishing. Chunky.
Hey, I seen old Irvin in the house. He must not be on the road tonight.
Well, that's awesome. Always good to see El staying in. I watched a little of his the other night. He was catching fish.
Ryan Swink, it's a friend of ours. Lives here in
Catfish. Carolina Catfish says you ought to give away a shirt.
Mr. Melhorn, I've got to get some made. I really didn't even think about selling these, Lyle. I just got me a few made to kind of advertise for myself, but I've got some requests, so I've got to get some made. There's Mr. Dieter Melhorn gracious with his presence tonight. Catmandu, my favorite name.
Mr. Melhorn, boy, you are really spoiling him. I'm thinking about starting to call him Dieter the Chicken Man. All of the people that go to these catfish conferences over all the years that they've been having, and that is about, other than on the phone, that's about the best time I have to spend with Dieter. And him and I usually have a little conflab where we sit down and go over things and talk about stuff that we don't talk about doing shows and things like that. And we really get down to some serious conversation. And I missed that last year, and I've missed it again this year with Dieter. And Dieter's a great guy, and everybody should be watching his shows and stuff. But when you get used to doing that and seeing a guy once in a while, and you figure that you've got X amount of time to visit with them, and then you don't get to do it for a couple of rounds, it's really kind of sad, and it bothers you a little bit. But Dieter, it's coming, and it will probably take us forever the next time to get caught up. Tara Blackburn, Skins and Scales, Mark Clark, Realville. I seen another one just a second ago. Brian B. Catfishing. Did we do that?
Yeah, he was on up in there earlier.
Chicken lost 5-1 yesterday.
Yeah, I seen that.
Ohio Catfishers. I love old Peter. But yeah, we miss all stuff. I got something I got to show you.
All right.
You know the speed clips that everybody's using on their hooks and different things for rigs and setups and stuff? I don't like the one. I don't like the ones that's got the V in them. I just don't. And the reason I don't is because if you get your hook or whatever you're attached to just right, it'll bind up in there and it'll be off center, off kilter. Doesn't happen very often, but it only has to happen once for me. I still use those kind because that's what I got.
Yeah.
But I found some. I found these. That is 100 pack, and if you'll see through the plastic, there's no V in those. They're round on each end, just like a paper clip. Now, these are the small ones.
Right.
They make them all the way up to the great big ones that are 200 and some pound rated. These are around 100 pounds, which is for the average guy most enough. But I wanted these for not specifically for catching big fish. $6 and change, Amazon.
Well, I'll think about 100 pound. If your reel only has, say, 17 pound of drag, then that's all you're going to put on that clip.
That's pretty much.
You know, between the flex of the rod, the stretch of the line, people don't really I mean, I ain't saying all people. So let's discuss that a little bit while we're here, Lyle, because we do have some new faces and stuff in the catfish community. We'll go over a few things like that, or that might be some, let's call it misconceptions of fishing.
Sure.
The drags, the bend of the rods, the stretch of the line. If you don't use braid, if you use a mono, I don't think braid has any stretch to it. If it does, it's very little. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, Lyle. You more of a braid user than I am. But guys and gals out there with a properly set drag and the bow of your rod, the stretch of your line, unless you've got nicks or just crappy line or something, or you just haven't learned to tie good knots yet, you shouldn't have a fish to break off.
That's right.
Am I right?
That's correct. If you will let do you have the volume turned up a little bit? I'm getting some feedback, James.
Let me step back a little bit further.
Okay. If you let the drag on your reel and the action of the top 1/3 of your rod do its job, you can catch a giant fish on light line just simply because it won't never get to that point. I personally see no reason, and I mean zero reason, for 25, 30 pounds of drag. Most of ours are set between 8 and 15 pounds.
Right.
I see no reason for more than that. It's just not. If that fish is fighting that hard, let him go. If he is a flathead and you're worried about him getting in a brush pile on you, lock it down, get him out of there, and then release it a little bit, because what'll happen is you'll forget that it's tightened up that tight. And then when you don't want it to be, it's too late, and snap. I don't care what kind of line you got, it'll break. So
yes,
I just let them run, let them do what they got to do. I've never had one get in a brush pile that was running that I couldn't stop. Now, I've had them where I was at the edge of a brush pile and they got in it and I couldn't get them out, but not when they took off running towards one. I just
right. Well, you know, and I know like Justin Wampus Cat, he likes the 7,000 because it does have a little more drag, but he will throw right into them and he uses it to get them fish up and turned away from them.
Exactly.
And then he loosens them up, because the more line you get back on your reel and the closer to the boat that fish gets, that hard lunge can be more than what your line rating is.
That's right.
With your rod tip coming into play and your drag system, that's where you can overcome those hard lunges.
That's correct.
And, you know, I've heard so many people talk about breaking hooks. And I know sometimes you can get a bad hook. And I know some hooks are harder as far as being tempered, that if you scar them with, let's say, a pair of metal pliers, they can break.
Yeah. You know,
But
I had a run when everybody else was having runs of Gamakatsu's breaking.
right,
They got that fixed. I busted
yes,
a few of them. Didn't bust that many, but a few. When you're tournament fishing, it only takes one, and you get a sour taste.
right.
But I haven't used any of them since, but I don't hear of anybody having problems with their hooks anymore. And I personally think that they had a tooling problem with that, where it was crimping or scratching
Yes,
those hooks, because it's just like a graphite rod. If there's a scratch in the finish on that rod, if it breaks, that's where to break, because
yep,
the finish, once that finish is off, it allows stuff to soak up in there, and they
right,
get a weak spot in them. If you know a rod builder and you have scratched a graphite rod, take it to him and let him put a coat of finish over top of that. It'll save you a lot of heartache. Cindy and I have almost exclusively went to graphite rods since I found rods that are durable enough. They're light. They're easier to get in and out of the rod holders. Um, they just don't
busting
weigh as much
easy.
as the glass stuff does.
Yeah, the first ones that was coming out, and I've had some of the older graphite rods that first come out.
Yeah.
Felt great in the hand, had a lot of great action, but they were easy to bust, easy to break.
Yep. No.
And it really wasn't from normal use. It was them times that maybe you leaned against it too hard against the side of your boat or something and put it in that unusual position, and they popped. I think they got a lot of that worked out.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, James, and a lot of people might not understand it or not believe it, but I see guys all the time. I can't raise that arm up, but they're taking the tip of the rod and they're bending them way over, way over.
Yeah.
The rods are not designed for that. They're designed to bend all the way from the grips all the way through the tip, not just at the top when you're holding it up there and you're bending it over. And every time somebody does that, I cringe, because I know that they've done damage to that blank. Now, might not break right then, and they might fish with it a long time. But the first time it gets in a big bind, especially if they wasn't with the spine of the rod, if they was off to one side or other of the spine of it, they have broke fibers in there. And the first time they get it, the rod in a bad situation, it'll go down there and snap. It'll snap right there where the fibers broke. And some people say, "Oh, you're full of crap." I promise you, it happens all the time. They're not made to do that. They're made to bend all the way through the length of the rod.
Right. And I've seen them so many times bend them like that, Lyle, and they actually bending them opposite of what the backbone is designed for.
That's
If
right.
it's a casting rod, they'll have it turned upside down, and the eyes is like a spinning rod.
Yep.
I thought, well, you're a dovetail. That ain't even the way he was designed to be bent anyway.
That's right. And I've had rod builders that's been building rods forever tell me that it doesn't matter where the spine of a rod is on a spinning rod, because you're pulling down on it, so it don't make no difference. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, everyone that goes out of here is spined correctly, and I don't have to worry about it. And I have very few of them ever say anything against a break or anything like that.
Daniel Isabel had a question. Said, Lyle and James, I cannot find anything on YouTube for my question and a lake. Should I fish the river going in or going out?
You're not in tidal water, are you, Daniel?
If he's in tidal water, then
that's your question, because I don't know about tidal water.
I don't have a question. I hear different people talk about tidal waters, catch them in and out. Ask the question in here, Daniel, because I know there's a few in here that do
I
fish.
thought he was from Texas, and if that is the case, I would be fishing at the mouth of where it comes into the lake, and if there's any current up in it, I'd be in that, definitely, because I like current.
Right. I know Junior Proctor fishes the Santee River down there, the Cooper River, and I think it's kind of a tidal water type of river. And some other guys in here, actually, Chunky fishes tidal water, don't he?
Yes, he does.
So there's some guys in here that can answer them questions for you, Daniel.
We'll get you an answer. We might not have it if it's tidal water, but if it's not, we'll find the answer for you.
And if anybody's in here and you don't want to put all that onto into chat, just send it to me on my phone and I'll read it out to them. Twisted.
Absolutely.
I must have missed a comment on there. Mr. Tim Molina's in the house.
Half Crazy's in here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of lead up into another thing that I want to talk about a little bit is that some of the myths that some of the young people might or the new to catfishing might come across or have heard all their lives that we can try to help. There's Bill Drags in the house. Help either confirm it either way, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You got to fish the deepest holes to find the biggest catfish.
That's false. That's false. Now, there'll be fish in them holes. Sometimes you can catch them and sometimes you can't, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're the biggest ones in whatever body of water you're fishing, because they eat and feed at all areas in the water column up and down. Life, welcome to Catfish Weekly.
You can catch them from 1 foot down to 100 foot.
That's right. I just seen somebody else that we hadn't called out. I'm sorry, James. Stilly Outdoors.
Yeah. That moonlight fishing, is that a new name now that I had?
I've had them in here before, but we're glad to have them back. It's awesome to see them in here. But I am not considered a shallow water fisherman unless I'm going after bait. Mike's Outdoor Adventures, thank you so much. Cindy has scolded me a number of times because I won't fish shallow water. I'm trying to get better at it. I like my favorite depth is between 15 and 45 feet. I would prefer it around 30 or 35, but you don't always find fishing in that. And now with side scan,
right,
on all these depth finders, there is no reason not to fish shallow water because you can find them. And I also have a 360 imaging, so I can find them with that too. John Boys Catfishing.
How you doing, John Boy? All right, another one. Catfish always feed on the bottom.
No, that's false also. They will also feed all the way through the water column. Especially cats and flatheads.
Flatheads got eyes on top of their head.
They're looking up all the time. They're not looking down. That's a fact.
And if you'll notice, people, a flathead has an undercut. I mean, yeah, he's got an underbite. Is that what you call it?
Mm-hmm.
So he can grab things. That old, what's his name down there on Santee Cooper? Oh, man, we just had him on the show a month ago. Dang. Jeffco.
John Jeffco?
Yeah. He actually catches them on the surface of the water, guys, free lining behind planter boards.
That's pretty cool. Stilly Outdoors. I love my 360 imaging. I wish it was a mega, but it is not. And I haven't had it long enough to justify trading it in for the new model. I tell you what you can find on it that sticks in my mind is bedding crappie or bluegill better than anything I've ever seen. They look like divots in a grid. I love that. The reason I wanted it was when I was drifting or anchored, if I seen fish, if I had it to where it would show the top half of it towards the front of the boat, I wanted to be able to see fish coming at me, and then I could adjust or move over and see which rod was about to get hit. It's not as good at that as I was hoping for, but it does work. You can see them, but you have to really adjust and fine tune it to get it in there. But man, for finding beds on bluegill and crappie, it's something else.
I see Miss Cross is in the house tonight, and total angling experiences in there. Dieter, fact or fiction? Zombies will not eat a catfish during a zombie party.
Oh, Dieter. It is great to see Betty in the house. I hope Brandon is in here. I didn't see him yet, but I got a feeling that Dee taking that picture of Chad has started up something, because I seen Betty took a picture of Brandon sleeping. You ladies are going to get us guys in trouble if you keep that up. I'm just saying, you know.
They starting some trouble what they're doing. Let's see. Miss Betty, I can't believe you was so close to North Carolina that you didn't give me a holler. If you drove down to there, you can come to the tournament April the 17th up here on Lake Wiley and visit with Mr. Lyle and all of us here.
James, did you see the size bluegill she caught?
Oh, that's some Carolina bluegills.
That was a giant, man.
Hey, I'm telling you, that was down around some of that areas down there, Lyle. That was an average size bluegill.
Wowza. You know what? Really? I actually talked to a gentleman that's going to do a show with us here one of these days that's got a replica or a mount of a 4-pound some shell cracker that was caught out there. And he had another one that was 4.2 pounds. And he's got a friend of his that's got one that's 3 pounds and something. Now, them some big old sunfish.
Well, Lyle, years ago, we stopped on the side of Interstate 85 where it crosses over Lake Wiley. And it's up in the river section of the lake. We'll go down there, never fish down there, you know, off the bank. We're just going down there, check it out, just carried a couple rods. And they was 2 men and a little boy. Little boy, I think back now was probably about 6, 7 years old, maybe 8 at the most. He had a shell cracker in a 5-gallon bucket. There was no room for anything else in that 5-gallon bucket. His daddy had to literally, Lyle, bend that fish to get him to go into the top of the bucket. All I had was $20 in my pocket. I offered that boy $20 for that fish. He wouldn't take it. Of course, it became a real turd, but, you know.
Was it Brian yesterday that had that giant shad?
Yes.
In that video of his? Man, what a stud that was.
Yes. So they're out there, Lyle.
Yeah.
That was a shell cracker gets huge. They do. But there's some ponds around that there's some bluegill in it. Them old black knotty head bluegill, they get huge.
Mr. Gadget says, Lyle, a question. If you did not build a fishing rod and had to pick another casting rod, what rod would you buy and why? Well, to be quite honest, I would have to do some comparisons to figure out, because it's been so long since I've actually bought a casting rod. Now, I forgot our bait rods one day. We're going to a tournament, and I had to buy Cindy and I some rods down at Bassamore to catch bait with when we was down there in a tournament. But I haven't bought a casting rod in 30 years, 25 years, long time. I don't know how long. Maybe it ain't been that long, but it's been a while. And although I have had most all of them in my hands, and I have done repairs on the majority of them at some time or another, there's some that I specifically would not own. And I'm not going to go into what they are or whose they are. There are some that I would specifically not own. There would be a handful of probably 6 to 12 that I would look at and determine which one was best suited for me. Because I got to tell you, Mr. Gadget, while we're at this, I'll just go into something here. What is a great rod for James Smith might not suit me. And what I think is a great rod might not suit James or you or anyone else. One of the biggest things that I've said all these years is if I built rods especially with colors and stuff that I like. Nobody buy them because nobody likes what I like, and that's why you can make them any color you want. But I like a medium fast tip on a rod. I don't like specifically really stiff rods unless I'm down at Memphis or someplace with heavy current. Now for bumping, I like a lightweight rod. I like it to weigh 7-8 ounces, and I like it to be stiff, but I want it to be sensitive. There's just so many variables on what it'd be, and I'd have to go through these because, like I say, I haven't done any for James Dockery Stop. But I haven't bought any for a long time, and like I say, we've done lots of giveaways over the years with lots of different rods, and a lot of them was very nice. There are some out there that claim they got this in them and that in them, and it's just simply not true. They can tell you they got this and that, but them guys in China will put anything on them decals you want them to as long as you pay your bill. They don't care because they're not held to the standards we are in the United States. And it's just that simple. So, that's as honest an answer as I can give you. Mud Tramp.
Mike Chavez in the house. We got Team Crow. I was trying to see a couple names while you was talking about Sunfish. Maxi Cat. Sunfish Assassins.
I see Mike Lewis, Team Whisker Ticklers has made it.
Yep. There's Mark.
Mexican.
Yep. Mark's in the house. Appreciate that. Everybody coming in. Now, what's a myth that you can think of, Lyle, that we might need to approve or disapprove or give credit to?
Well, I don't know if this is a myth or not, but I see everybody wants to get their fish hooked in the corner of the mouth. And that's a safe bet. If you hook one in the corner of the mouth, it's probably going to get in your boat if you get a big hunk of that gristle. Yeah. Personally, especially on flatheads, I would rather that it go around the bottom jaw, and I mean all the way around the bone and come out. If you get around that bone, you got him. I don't care. If that hook don't break, he's not coming off. If I could design a hook to do that every time, I would do it. And people say, "Oh no, you got to get them in the corner of the mouth." That's horse crap.
Yeah.
They'll come undone there, and you won't get them all the way through. Sometimes you'll just get a little bit. I've seen Dieter talk about whisker hook, and I've actually seen him hook them in the whisker on his shows. But so many times they're just caught, just barely.
Yep.
Pull out or break off when you get them to the boat, or if you don't dip net them and get them dip net the first time,
they go.
They gone. That's right. Yep. You get them around that lower jaw, buddy. It ain't, unless that hook breaks or your line breaks, they're with you. They ain't going no place. That would be something that I would prefer to happen, but I don't see it happening. Mike Turner.
Yep. We had another one in here too that I've not seen. I don't think there's Robbie's in the house with us tonight.
Oh, good to see you, Robbie. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Dale, his Hayslip. I don't think we'd called his name out yet.
James?
Yes, sir.
We've got 123 people in here right now. Well, I'm so happy that we got all these people in here. And for you that are watching our show, when we get done here in about 20 minutes, you can go watch Catfish and Crappie because Mr. Mark is going live right after Catfish Weekly. He's moved to Monday nights, and it should be a great show tonight.
That's right. I about forgot about him coming on after our show. We might have to stay over about 15 minutes just to mess with him, Lyle.
Well, I think you should.
I'm just messing with you.
I got to promise you, James, I'm going to be messing.
Yeah, I'm just aggravating Mark. That's cool. Thank the world of Mark. He's good people, has a good show.
I never will forget him filling in and helping you when I was having issues with my shoulder and didn't feel like it wasn't that I couldn't have done them shows. I just didn't feel like it. And he jumped up. Chad Nolte, welcome. I just didn't feel like doing them. And he was a great co-host for you. You guys done a bang-up job. Hey, there's Catherine McTee.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
You should know who that is.
Yeah, great on the show the other night. I enjoyed her, Jolene, and her husband. It was
too.
Yes. Oh, they just won didn't they just come in second place in the tournament?
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they did.
Them are some great folks. I enjoyed that show you did with them very much. They're just really super nice people.
I want to get her and Jolene and a couple of them other women and do a show on closer to the chick fights.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, James. I don't know if you heard it the other night, but there's been some people after Cindy to do a show with them.
Yep.
And she told them she couldn't do a show with them because you was first in line.
Thank you, Miss Cindy.
And she never said she would do one.
Right.
Kind of lean like you might be talking her into it now. I don't know if you can or not, but she said you was first, and man, you got to respect somebody for that.
Oh God, yeah. I've been told that a few times, Lyle.
Yep, I know.
But I know Miss Cindy would hold true to her word.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And if she would feel, and we'll talk about it later, but if she would feel more comfortable with maybe having somebody that she's fished against or with another lady to come in with on that show, then that would be great too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she hasn't fished with too many, but she has fished with Hannah and Nikki Ishcomer, and that in itself would be pretty good.
I'll be making that phone call tomorrow.
I'm just saying. Right. There's only been one chick fight, and they want it going away. So,
right. Well, there's one coming up that I hope that it gets to go this year. I know that, there's a freaking virus or whatever, that Chinese virus. It's got a lot of.
Yeah, we're so sick of that.
They will have or they won't have,
That's right. That's the determining factor about a bunch of stuff that's going to take place later this year. Michael Leslie, welcome.
But now let's go back to what you were saying a little while ago. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me.
Absolutely.
And ladies and gentlemen, that goes with everything that has to do with fishing.
That's right.
Everything.
That's right. Hooks,
and
rods, reels.
You use those products also. It's, like Lyle, he knows that right now he's limited with his shoulder, giving him a fit. I'm limited because of my back. But that might cause us to fish the same technique, the same line, the same rod and reel. Everything can be the same, but there's something a little bit different by the way Lyle will be casting or the way he's reeling or the way I'm reeling. There can be all the difference in attracting that fish to your bait as not to.
That's right.
It might all have to do with if you're a smoker or not a smoker, or whether you spit on your bait or didn't spit on your bait.
Correct. We, right now, you was talking about my shoulder. Right now, I don't know how much reeling one in and fighting the fish would be the issue. I know I would have problems with that if it was very big. But to be quite honest, James, the biggest problem is if Cindy or I, either one, got a big fish, 60, 70, 80 pounder, it'd be hard for us to get it in the boat. Her bad knees and my bad shoulder. I got to tell you, folks in chat, don't never get old. Getting old just sucks. It really does.
Yeah, where's them golden years at?
The golden years, my hind ends. Give me them 30s and 40s and 50s back. But, like I say, I'm more concerned about that than I am reeling it in, because if I have trouble, I can always hand the rod to her and she can get it in, no question. So I wanted to mention that I forgot to do this a while ago. Mark with Catfish and Crappie show after us. His guest tonight is none other than Skip Stewart.
There you go. That'll be good.
That's going to be a great show for him.
Junior Proctor said, and guys and gals, we do ask if you want us to announce a tournament that you're having or you're going to be in, that you want to bring a little thing, let us know. We're not going to dedicate a whole show to it, but we don't mind giving shout outs to it. And if you don't mind, if we do, follow up with some results. We'd love to give, first, second, third, and big fish results of those tournaments. Junior Proctor was talking about James Monster Quest tournament, March the 19th and 20th at Black's Camp on Santee Cooper. That would be a fun tournament. That lake is really turning back on. Thank you, Becca.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. The words can't describe what these donations mean to us as far as getting shipping out and buying decals for you guys. And by the way, for those that don't know it, we do have Catfish Weekly decals. We have them in black and white. I might have one in purple or two. We also have the CPR decals that's up in the corner. You can see them up there. We're really proud of those. Those was designed by a friend of mine several years ago for our rods. And I had a so sweet young lady change that into Catfish Weekly and take the rod stuff off. And I really, really like that. I hope everybody else does. If you're interested in those, contact me. And if you're out catching fish, I have the poundage club all the way up to 90 pounds now. And they start at 10. So if you get anything over 10 pounds, the first one's free. After that, they're on you. We're happy to do that. We want everybody to have them up and down their boat. James, I had the water get in the gas tank of my boat. I've been fighting that with this bad shoulder all the time. So we get figured out what's going on with it. And I put the carpet in my boat. Well, I got to thinking about that, and the gas gauge didn't work, so I ripped it all out. Ordered a sending unit. It come in today. I've been waiting on that baby. It was here about 15 minutes, and it was already in the boat. So now I just got to put the floor back in, fix a little piece there where I had to take it out, and we're going to get ready to do something. I haven't been in a hurry because everything is iced up, but Cindy and I went out Saturday and drove around all over the place and found a boat ramp that had people launching and taking in and out. It had a big spot of open water that nobody else had, and they was in there fishing. Boats was all over the place. So I'm saying by the temperatures that we're having now and the wind blowing like it has been, that we will have clear fishing by the end of the week.
It's just around the corner, ain't it?
It is.
Did you see Mr. Melhorn? He said, wants to know if it's 90 pounds in a day or one fish, or how do you add that up?
It's one fish. It's one fish, but Dieter, if you catch it without chicken, I'll send you two. I seen him the other day, and he sent a message to us in chat, but he actually he's fair about it. He fishes with his chicken, and he fishes with, what is that fish you guys got out there that you catch a lot of?
White perch.
And he's using both and giving them a fair benefit. I just like to give him crap, Right. I got a message from someone in chat, bless her heart. Betty Jean said, if I give away a Catfish Weekly decal, that she would pay for it. But Betty, you do not have to do that. We're gonna give one of these away. In fact, we might give two away. What do you think?
That sounds like a winner to me.
Let me load these up. If you can keep people entertained or argue with Dieter, total angling experience.
Yep.
We are so glad to have you at Catfish Weekly tonight. It's awesome to see you in here.
I hear you, Frank. Go ahead and get you a boat. He's talking about his wife's going to let him get him a boat.
I thought Frank had a boat.
I did too. I think he canoes and kayaks down them rivers and stuff.
That's what it is. Yeah, I bet it is.
He's got some good looking daggum little rivers. I don't know. I can't remember exactly where he said he's at, but I'll be having me a gold pan in my hand out there because some of them places.
He's in Indiana, isn't he?
He might be. Yeah, he might be. I can't remember. But yeah, guys and gals, find what is comfortable for you, something that most like for 90% of the fish that we catch out there, there's probably not a rod and reel on the market that will not put them on the boat or on the bank.
That's true.
Now, if you're a heavy fisherman, you're going to fish every day of the week, then yeah, you need to save your money and start stepping up to a little bit better products. But get something, go fishing, start trying different stuff from different people. Somebody's got to say an Abu. Say, hey man, let me throw that out there and let me reel it in. Let me feel how it feels in my hand to see if that's something that I might want to pursue. Somebody's got an ugly stick rod. Try it. Ugly Sticks has put a lot of fish on the boat, ain't it, Lyle?
They have tons and tons. One of the longest running, most caught. It's like an old 30-30 deer rifle. What's killed more animals than a 30-30? It's kind of, and I feel the same way about the Ugly Sticks. What's caught more fish than an Ugly Stick? And I don't just mean catfish.
Yes.
I'm talking about bass, crappie, bluegill, perch. There's an Ugly Stick and has been one for many years for just about everything on the market. So I think everybody at one time or another has bought one. They're not that expensive and they last a long time.
You can find them in a lot of different places, Walmart and other places. I don't shop Walmart and never will again, but you can find them there, and you can find them in a lot of different places. And at one time, Lyle, really, that was probably the strongest rod on the market besides custom.
Yep, I would agree. I've got them all loaded up. Give me a number between 1 and 5, James.
Let's start out right in the middle with number 3.
That'll work. 1, 2, 3. And the winner is Dakota Puryear, Puryear. Dakota, if you will contact us after the show, just send a message to Catfish Weekly on Facebook or Catfish Weekly TV at gmail.com and send me your shipping address. I'll get one of these decals right out to you. And thank you so much for watching Catfish Weekly. That was awesome.
I've never seen that name in chat.
I didn't, but it showed up, so I'm pretty sure it was there.
Right. If we did miss you and you're still in here, I apologize and congratulations. We try to shout out everybody in chat. So spin it up one more time. Let's give a set of these pink floats away before we run out of time, Lyle.
Well, I can do that, my man. Give me another number, though.
Let's go with number 2.
1, 2. And the winner is Fins and Finds, my buddy Bob out of Springfield, Missouri.
There you go, Bob. Get a hold of me, and we'll set you up with a set of these pink ghost floats. And you do turn them on by unscrewing the bottom and twisting the light.
That's right. Fins and Finds. Total angling experience. If you get a chance in the next few days, send me a message or email me or something. I got a question to ask you.
Just contact me through Messenger or text me at 704-600-8369 and we'll get them out to you.
While we're at it, let's load up. I got them loaded up. Let's go ahead and give away another one of these decals.
Sound like a winner. Number 1, your favorite number.
It is my favorite. How did you know? Mike Outdoors Adventures. Mike, same deal. Give me a message on Facebook or email me at catfishweeklytv@gmail.com. I get confused now that we have Panfish Weekly and Catfish Weekly. It's all the same, but 2 different email addresses, and I get confused.
If I just start doing a ticker across the bottom with the email on there, so
I need
you'll
to
always
do that,
see it.
and I hate to say too much because I hate to give James Dockery and Fishing with Chad any more ammo. They don't need it. You guys, when you comment on their post when they're after me, you're not helping me at all. You're just not. Them guys, they don't need any more ammunition. They really don't. Couple of dandy guys, though. They and James and I, we batter each other a lot, but I'm going to tell you, there's not anybody in the world. Him and Sonny Parker do more for children in their area and helping kids than anybody I know in the sport of fishing, and God bless them for that. James and Katie, they do a ton of stuff for kids. They work very closely with the Missouri Department of Conservation, and I think that's one of the reasons why I think so much of James and Katie. It's sure not because he gives me any less bull, because he piles it on, but I would do him the same way. But they do outstanding work for kids and teaches classes and helps them learn and do all kinds of stuff. And that is so important. And there's only certain people that are able to do that. And he happens to be one of them.
Yeah.
Yes, I am talking about Sleeping Beauty.
Frank said, "Don't give them." Said, "Give them some mortars. They're going to be lobbing mortars at you."
Oh, they probably will, but that's okay. I mean, I can pretty much handle it. I mean, I've told them guys and everybody else, Geriatric Jig Company. Here we go. If you can't take it, don't dish it out. I can take it. I can. I've been handling it a long time. And that's simply because I like to dish it out too. So that's the way it works. You guys send me your shipping addresses on these decals. Specify if you want black or white, please.
There you go. Lyle, I guess we got just a few more minutes before. Well, we ain't got but like 3 minutes left. Yep. If you don't mind, let me shout the tournament out right quick, and before we get out of here.
Okay.
Guys and gals, especially some of you that hasn't heard yet, if you're close to North Carolina or if you want to drive, Mr. Lyle's going to be driving a lot of hours to come out here and fish this tournament. It is the American Heroes Catfish Tournament, April the 17th, 2021 on Lake Wiley, North Carolina. It's right outside of Charlotte. If you look up Charlotte on the map, you can find it pretty easy. I'm hosting this tournament is $50 per team or $25 per bank fisherman. And Lyle, we got quite a few bank fishermen coming.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have a place set up where they can hold their fish will be held and tagged for the way in. But guys and gals, this tournament is for Camp Centurion. Hold up a minute. And Camp Centurion is a veterans home that it went too big. It's a veterans home for rehabilitating veterans. It's a home that I'm working with to try to get this thing done. Please come and join us. Make sure you fly the American flag on your boat. That is the first and most important requirement in this tournament. But guys and gals, each and every one of us can do what we're doing because of veterans.
Absolutely.
Without our veterans, there would be no YouTube. We would have to get permission to go fishing, and then the government would take a half of all of our fish to feed somebody else.
That's right.
We ain't far from that right now, Lyle.
Team Cam Mayo's in the house.
Yes, a lot of good people.
You're very familiar with.
Yes. And actually, I had somebody to call me yesterday, Lyle, and said a veteran had heard about the tournament and wanted to know if he could come fishing with him.
That's all.
That is getting around to our veterans.
It is. SK's Crappie Kitchen Adventures. Welcome to Catfish Weekly. You got in just before we're getting ready to leave because we are going to make room for the new kid on the block. Catfish and Crappie's going live right now. Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in to Panfish Weekly Thursday night at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. See you then.
God bless.